Police say some
crazy traffic because they can't fix the roads. How does the mob, all right, influence that?
Well, first of all, they have the politicians, and that's the reason they started the trade association, because they figured if the politicians could do it, they could do it, and they wanted a piece of the pie, and they got it, and as far as the road goes, I mean, it's there's bribery going on constantly. There's I mean, it's a joke. I mean, and it's not only in New York City; it's in a lot of major cities.
Yeah, sure. It's in the Big Dig in Boston and all of that. Now, Counselor, can you get specific about what organized crime does to, number one, slow these projects down, and number two, how do they make money doing it?
Well, they don't really want to slow it down. What they want to do from the beginning is get a piece of the pie going into it. So they'll sit down, and the unions and the builders will all come together and come up with a number. Part of that number is going to organized crime. And what they do is they get some no-show jobs. They get some people who show up and don't do anything. They get money that's actually coming out of the construction itself, sheetrock, materials that disappear. And those are the kinds of things.
All right, so they have people that are being paid by the taxpayers of New York City, taxpayers of Boston, Philadelphia. I don't know if this happens on the West Coast, but I suspect it does somewhat. And that money goes to the organized crime chief.
That's correct.
All right, the people that don't show up get paid, and the money goes over there. Then they steal things from the work site.
Correct.
They don't work 8-hour days. I never see them working out there on the LAE.
They don't work 8-hour days.
How many hours they work?
If they show up, well, it depends if it's a total no-show job or a job where they have to come and sit around.
Right.
And so if they have to come and sit around, they spend a certain amount of hours. They go for long lunches, and then maybe they come back, and maybe they don't.
And the state of New York, the state of Massachusetts, they don't supervise this, or they don't. What do they do?
They
Bill,
have no control.
Go ahead, Mr. Hill.
Bill, I had my first union card when I was 14 years old, and the shop steward used to pick me up. That's the guy that the union puts in there to watch over the safety conditions of the job, and that's and he controlled probably 10 ghosts, 10 phantoms that did not show up. And I used to show up occasionally.
All right, can we assume, Mr. Hill?
I was 14 years old, and I was getting a...
I believe you, and I believe the counselor. Can we assume that most construction projects in New York City and Boston and most are being run this way by organized crime? Can we assume that?
Well, the government is... The government has taken over quite a few unions, and and they put a dent in it, but it's never going to go away. There's just way too much money involved in it, and it's something that's there for good.
All right, now
I mean, every yard of concrete that they pour in the city is taxed, and every ounce of steel that comes out comes out of those mills is taxed.
All right, when you say tax, that means there's a piece of that going to organized crime. They just peel off the money and give it to them.
Absolutely, and then you have the pension funds. Now
Yeah, I don't want to get into the pension funds now. That's just too big. Now in Boston, Counselor, $1 billion cost overruns, $1 billion. Stuff disappears all the time from the site, stolen. Again, not too many people working on the depression of the artery up there in Boston. Do you lay this at the doorstep of organized crime?
Well, it's in part the organized crime, it's part government inefficiency, but it's certainly a substantial amount of corruption involved. Otherwise, this kind of money wouldn't disappear. Otherwise, you wouldn't see people not working at the sites. Otherwise, you wouldn't see materials missing from the sites.
All right, why doesn't Governor Pataki and the governor of Massachusetts, whomever it will be in the fall, but Jane Swift, why don't they do anything about it?
What would you like them to do?
I would like them to get organized crime out of the construction industry. Is that too much to ask?
It apparently has been too much to ask for many, many years. I mean, if we look at just a very good example some years ago, Sam Gravano was in the drywall business, sheetrock business. They put up the Palace Hotel here in the city. They put up many, many, many big structures here in the city. His partners included other members of the club. The club included the Carpenters Union, included people like Biff Halloran, who was a builder, and others. So they've got every piece of the action worked out. It's bid a certain a dollar amount. They know what they have to set aside. They know what they can steal.
And they have legitimate people in front making the bids.
Absolutely.
All right. Now, Mr. Hill, do you think there's any way you can clean this up? Could Governor Pataki do something about this if he wanted to in New York?
Bill, can you take the beer out of Ireland? It's never going to stop.
Can I take the beer out of Ireland? I wouldn't want to try. That's the problem.
Well, I don't think anyone wants to try to mess with the.
Why?
With that little,
I mean,
because there's too
every
much money involved,
taxpayer.
Bill.
Every
Bill, there's
taxpayer is taking it on the chin here. They won't fix the roads. They can't do the big dig. It's insane. Every taxpayer getting hurt.
And they keep building bigger houses for themselves, and and paying the top attorneys to represent them. They got to make a living, and they're going to make a living. And
so you say that the Governor Pataki and all the power that the states have can't dent this organized crime construction alliance.
Listen, if Giuliani couldn't do it, no one can do it.
There you have it. And next, we'll wrap things up. The most ridiculous item of the day and some of your mail.
Stay tuned. Hannity and Colmes coming up next tonight. Iraq and the UN inspectors say they've found some common ground, but the U.S. isn't sold on the idea. Is this just Saddam playing tricks to buy himself some more time? Fox News political analyst Dick Morris is here. It looks like Frank Lautenberg is the man in New Jersey. We've got the latest in our weekly visit from Empower America's Bill Bennett. Has the balance of political power shifted over the past week? All that coming up in just a few minutes on Hannity and Colmes.
I heard it defies gravity.
I heard its brakes could stop a freight train.
I heard it can fly. You won't believe what people are saying about this car until you drive it. Test drive the BMW 7 Series at an authorized BMW center to see for yourself.
Next time you're on the road and you need to fill your tank, here's something to consider. New Shell gasoline is specially formulated to help prevent deposit buildup in your engine, which helps keep it clean. And a clean engine performs better, which is why when they're looking for more from their gasoline, so many drivers choose Shell.
Time now for the most ridiculous item of the day. Despite all the controversy surrounding our investigations of the charities after 9/11, the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences has honored us. The proclamation reads, the NATAS is honored to recognize Bill O'Reilly for contributions to the reporting of momentous events beginning on September 11th, 2001. Well, since I get very few honors, I really appreciate this one. And my staff does too, since they did much of the heavy lifting. They all got certificates as well. The question now becomes, should I send the citation to George Clooney? Or would that be ridiculous? Let me know. Through the mail. And here's tonight's sampling of it. Eddie Carnes, Yelm, Washington. Bill, I doubt you have the guts to air this. I applaud Congressman McDermott's efforts to save lives in Iraq. I am an Army veteran, and I give McDermott a Medal of Honor for patriotism. Woody Westfall, Cedar City, Utah, I should say. Cedar City, Utah. McDermott said that we should give the Iraqis a benefit of the doubt. Then he says we can't trust President Bush. The man is a traitor in my eyes. Charles Fox, West Sayville, New York. We keep hearing about Iraq's weapons of mass destruction, but not a mention of ours. Mr. Fox, I think you're making a grave mistake by giving Iraq moral equivalency with America. Lou Smith, Matooka, Wisconsin. As a disabled veteran, I am switching from the Democratic Party to the Republicans. McDermott is aiding the enemy. About the poet laureate of New Jersey accusing Jewish people of masterminding 9/11, we heard from a number of people who have fried their brains using the internet. Barbara Chandler, Newfoundland, Canada. We know who runs the media. You should not try to censor the New York attack. Let Mr. Baraka teach us what really happened. Mary Jo Andrews, Reno, Nevada. Mr. Riley, I'm offended by your racism when you attack Mr. Baraka. He is exposing the Jewish supremacists. So let me get it straight, Ms. Andrews. You are offended by my racism? Once again, more than 500 Jewish people were killed in the World Trade Center. It is simply reprehensible for any person to spread this kind of propaganda. Alex Lovett, Adele, Georgia. I'm 11 years old and think Mr. Baraka is an embarrassment to the whole country. And you are right, Alex. Thank you for writing. Jan Gerdell, Washington, Missouri. Hey, Bill, Al Sharpton or any other American taking the movie Barbershop seriously is like taking Archie Bunker seriously. Can't we just all laugh at ourselves? Bill Suzor, North Orange, Massachusetts, is the first time I ever agreed with Sharpton. A moral standard should be adopted by all. Beecher Medford, New San Antonio, Texas. Mr. O, my wife is a Democrat and I am a Republican. We both enjoy The Factor. The program invites much discussion, gives us an agreeable home environment. Well, we do what we can for marital bliss, Mr. Medford. And Carrie Wharton, Evansburg, Pennsylvania. Hey, Bill, in my eyes, you are the cutest guy on TV next to Shepard Smith. Next to Shepard, Carrie? What is this world coming to? And I think I'll seek refuge in a website, www.foxnews.com/O'Reilly. We got the barbershop shootout on the website, and we got the Factor gear. And remember, some of the proceeds go to charity. It's getting a little chilly out there, a little October deal, get that windbreaker. Sharp-looking windbreaker, okay? Your friends will be envious. Also, how about email us with some pithy comments, O'Reilly@foxnews.com, O'Reilly@foxnews.com. Name and town if you wish to opine. And if you do live near Barbara Streisand, you need to get the Factor windbreaker. That is it for us today. As always, we thank you for watching The Factor. Please remember the Radio Factor, Westwood 1, coast to coast, each day. Hannity Colmes has more on Saddam Hussein. I'm Bill O'Reilly. Hope to see you again next time. And remember, the spin
stops here.
Yay! See you tomorrow.
Tonight on Hannity and Colmes, breaking news out of New Jersey. Democrats have picked their man to replace Senator Torricelli on the ballot. We'll bring you the latest and talk to Fox News political analyst Dick Morris. And Iraq and the team of UN inspectors say they've made a deal. But is this just another of Saddam's games? We'll debate that. Empower America's Bill Bennett joins us for our weekly wrap-up of the political world. First, the headlines.
New Jersey Democrats have made a decision. Hello, everybody. I'm Lori Dew. Former Senator Frank Lautenberg is the man. Democratic Party leaders have chosen him tonight to replace incumbent Senator Robert Torricelli on the November ballot. The 78-year-old Lautenberg, who ironically is a longtime political rival of Torricelli, emerged as the choice after at least two other potential candidates reportedly turned down a run. Torricelli suddenly dropped out of the race yesterday amid ethics questions, but he did it after the legal deadline, and Republicans say they are willing to take the fight against replacing Torricelli all the way to the Supreme Court. Hannity and Colmes will have more on this in a moment. A man brutally beaten in Milwaukee has died. The victim was attacked by a mob of 16 children on Sunday. 9 suspects, 10 to 18 years in age, confessed today and are in custody, but police are still looking for the rest of the suspects. The kids beat the man after he punched a boy who threw an egg at him. And the publishers of Rosie magazine are suing Rosie O'Donnell for $100 million. In court papers filed today, they say the former talk show host breached her contract when she abruptly pulled out of the venture last month, then publicly bashed the magazine. I'll have another update for you at the bottom of the hour. Hannity and Colmes is up next. They will have the very latest on the Democrats' choice of Senator Frank Lautenberg to run again. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Hannity and Colmes. I'm Alan Colmes. We have breaking news from the New Jersey Senate race. Fox News has just confirmed the Democrats have chosen their man to replace Robert Torricelli on the ballot. Fox News correspondent Carl Cameron now joins us on the phone. Carl, you've got the latest. Fill us in.
Hi, Alan. Well, it's Frank Lautenberg, and he will be the Democrats' substitute candidate. But all of that sort of falls second on the priorities list to tomorrow's Supreme Court arguments, where the two sides will argue whether or not Torricelli can actually come off the ballot or not, having missed the 51-day deadline that passed back on September 16th. If that gets past the state Supreme Court, then the Republicans take it to the U.S. Supreme Court. Now, as for Lautenberg, it's actually pretty interesting because of all of the people that Torricelli had hoped to see succeed him in this race and potentially even in the seat itself, Lautenberg was the absolute last on the planet. They have had a long-standing feud, and he'd made it clear, Torricelli did with Governor McGreevey over the weekend, that he would have preferred first Pallone, then Menendez, and as a last possible-ditch effort, Lautenberg, and that might jeopardize his potential resignation from the seat itself because of their animosity between one another.
All right, Carl, we thank you very much. We'll keep you updated as this continues. Lots ahead tonight. We'll talk about that with Dick Morris. We'll talk about the ramifications of that. In fact, will Lautenberg ever get on the ballot? And is criticizing the president an act of treason? In our weekly visit from Bill Bennett, he'll give us his perspective on where and when dissent is appropriate. And Linda Chavez says she's the most hated Hispanic in America, and she'll tell us why. But first, our top story tonight: has war with Iraq been averted? Chief UN Weapons Inspector Hans Blix announced in Vienna today that he has reached an agreement with Iraq for the return of weapons inspectors, but the deal still won't allow the inspectors to poke around in Saddam Hussein's presidential palaces whenever they want. So is this a breakthrough or just politics as usual in Baghdad? We're joined by Illinois Democratic Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky and Georgia Republican Congressman, my old friend Jack Kingston, not that old, but still a friend in spite of your political leanings. Jack, how are you? Welcome
I'm doing great,
back
Alan.
to the show. Is this just posturing? Is this a resolution that'll stick?
Alan,
Go
I
ahead.
don't understand what the UN is thinking. This will be number 17. No inspection, no access to the presidential palaces. That's an area of 12 square miles, and there's no military threat. And so I don't understand what's new about this. I mean, we're massaging the old words, but we're going back to where we've already been. And it makes me really worry about the UN. I just don't think that they're serious about being relevant.
All right, what about that, Congresswoman Schakowsky? Do we need more teeth in this to get Saddam Hussein to really toe the line this time?
Well, you know, it's not an either-or question. I think we should move ahead with these unconditional inspections, which includes mosques and military installations. It does not include, as you said, the palaces.
Right.
But we should continue to move ahead on that track with the UN to try and push for a stronger resolution.
Right, but look,
that
I've been very vocal about not rushing to war, not wanting this to happen, doing everything we can to forestall it. But if we're going to have inspections, don't they have to be able to look everywhere so we can then satisfy ourselves in knowing that Saddam Hussein isn't playing some game of hide and seek?
I think so, but I think we shouldn't discount this entirely. I think we should move ahead. Particularly, I think it strengthens the president's hands if it turns out that Iraq is not serious about allowing these unannounced, unconditional inspections. We would have to inspect these sites anyway. So let's get going with that and continue to push for a stronger resolution at the United Nations.
Congressman Kingston, isn't that fair? We begin down this road. We then try to down the road to do more than we're doing now. But at least let's start the process so we can at least, if there are weapons of mass destruction, get them out of there.
You know, the process started in 1991. It was interrupted in 1998, even prior to then, because of his lack of cooperation. So we're talking about 4 years that this guy has been skirting around, hiding chemical and biological and nuclear
12
weapons.
years.
So I don't understand why, what is it that people don't get? I can tell you this, as a House member on a bipartisan basis, we are ready to move along. Unlike the Senate, we don't need Kofi Annan's permission. We are Americans in the United States House of Representatives, at least the lower house, and we're not going to sit around and wait for Kofi Annan to say, okay, it's been cleansed now, let's go ahead with it.
Congressman Kingston, good to see you. Congresswoman, good to see you. Congresswoman, explain this to me. What part of unfettered, unconditional don't you understand? Because that's what he signed on to, and that's what he is now. He's laying down conditions. There's no point in going in and having inspections in some places and not others. Why don't you understand? Why are you so willing to let this madman dictate the terms?
I totally understand that. What I'm saying is that I think that we should get going now, and then we should continue to move on.
He's setting conditions.
What part don't you understand that we're talking about the potential of 250,000, 300 young men and women? I want to tell you,
What part don't you understand that this madman made